welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Good. Hey, MLS is back.
MLS is back.
Yes, and CONCACAF Championship's going on right now, and Messi's playing in -7 degree feel in Kansas City. But anyway, we are back now for our third episode this week, and
We've been busy.
we have and lots to talk about.
There's lots to talk about.
Union announced yesterday the signing of a new forward,
Bruno
Bruno
Domina.
Damiani.
Yeah.
Wow, I was actually going to do it right.
You were going to do it right. Go ahead and say it.
Damiani.
Yes. Good job.
Yes. So anyway, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do our fun episode today. Our season predictions, which will probably be wrong, but hey, that's the fun part of it. And although 2 years ago, but anyway, and we're just gonna talk quick about the matches coming Saturday against Orlando City. But before we get started, and again, what we're wearing, just want to shout out a More Philly Union.
Yeah.
We had a fun episode with them last night. All three of them were excellent, and it was just a joy. They were on our show earlier this year, and hey, we returned the favor, and it was a wonderful episode. So when that is announced, we'll definitely retweet it. And as always, guys, the season's here. We got a lot going on, and
Yes. The season's upon us. It's that time of year. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we are going to get down to it.
so what are we wearing today?
All right. So I think everyone heard the news, or hopefully you saw the goal because it was pretty sweet. But Julian Carranza, he had quite the goal
Mm-hmm.
to bring the draw for Feyenoord, okay, which then put them ahead of AC Milan um in aggregate. So, sorry, Kyle, because I know you're AC Milan fan, but we're
Yeah.
also fans of Julian Carranza. So, in that regard, I am wearing my bootleg MLS Julian Carranza t-shirt because, I'm so happy for him.
No, I am too. And he was on CBS today talking about it, and just see where he's come up from. The success he had here in Philadelphia. Hey, it's just a great opportunity for him now at Feyenoord. And hopefully he continues to make the most out of it, because I think this is just, one step in many, as I said earlier today. I tweeted that out, and so yeah.
Yeah. And hey, who does, Julian Carranza had a great time at the Union and went off to bigger and better things. And
Hey.
and hey, hopefully Damiani can, come in and be another great South American striker for the Union.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be exciting. And we're gonna get into that off the top, but before we get started, where can people find us?
All right. And by the way, in case you're wondering, we didn't really skip Kyle on what he's wearing. He's just not really it's
Yeah, I'm wearing literally, so yes, thank you for that. I'm actually wearing my work t-shirt. This is a race shirt from the Autumn Dash of the YMCA Roses, which benefits Parkinson's. This is one
yeah.
of the races that benefits programs I oversee with my role.
Yeah, his day job, he does some good stuff to
So yeah,
people.
I was actually working, and we got home and we're like, okay, because I'm heading down to Chester tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
All things depending on the weather, but it sounds like we're going to be good. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, anyway, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, literally everywhere.
Mhm.
And you can find us on our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. We've had a lot of articles out recently. Check that out. I wrote about the three U17s
Mm-hmm.
that represented from the Union, Jameer Johnson, Jordan Griffin, and Kellen LeBlanc. So check that out. Kyle put out article as well. And he put about uh Bruno, and so we got all kinds of content out there. Check it out.
Yeah.
Um Also find us on our socials. We're on Twitter and Blue Sky at TOTWAG. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at the One Team We Agree On, and our YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, no, let's get and talk about Bruno. So
Yes, we're going to talk about Bruno.
yeah. So yesterday Union announced the signing of Uruguayan forward Bruno Damiani.
Damiani.
Damiani. I'm gonna eventually mix it up. But anyway,
It's okay.
contract's good through 2028 with a club option for 2029. Damiani is the highest transfer fee in Union history, surpassing Mikel Ua's 2022 transfer fee from Brøndby. His his official fee is $3.4 million. Um, and we'll have to wait from the MLSPA to see what his overall salary is. But yeah, I mean, you go on, look at around what people are saying. MLS made a big deal about it. The South American reporters were talking
Hmm.
about it left and right. Our friend Jose Nunez really broke it down. Some great conversation with his
Hmm.
agent and Damiani as well. Having said all that, here's a guy that, you know, played most recently had his first cap with Uruguay. One kind of like what Jack McGlynn just had. They
Hmm.
call it Camp Cupcake, but it's a good opportunity for young
Yeah.
guys to maybe get on the scene. So that was an excellent opportunity. And the other big thing I really thought was, he gets transferred, loaned out last year to Boston River, and really made a name for himself with 12 goals, 5 assists. It was just, so here's again, I think the end of the day, I don't know how you feel, but striker depth just got a little deeper and a little bit more quality.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 22.
Right.
And so I think there's probably a lot of room to grow there as well for him to improve. And that's what I'm saying. Like he might really just take off. Who knows? I'm excited. Like this is, and hopefully other Union fans, I feel like people are getting more excited.
Hmm.
Ernst did go out and sign some players.
Ernst did what he said what he was going to
He
do. He
did.
said he was going to upgrade every position. Now, defining upgrade with some homegrowns a certain position, but they're quality homegrowns.
Yeah.
Are they MLS level? That remains to be seen. Ernst did touch on that a little bit yesterday, but yeah, it's a good signing. Like I said in my article yesterday on the one team we agree on, there is a good possibility that there's a learning curve. Obviously,
Hmm.
like anything, coming in, learning new faces, teammates, all that stuff. Although England, Glenn Glenvich, Glenn Inovich,
Glavinovic.
yes, there we go. Kind of made out the thing on Jose posted that talking about grilling and all that, and that's cool. He's already making some connections with some of the
Yeah.
players, so we'll see. I would say, this is a guy that could, by the end of the year, be kind of going. I think the thing I like about him, and again, these are just highlights, but he was really good on set pieces.
Hmm.
Makes good runs in the box, which is going to help guys like Quinn,
Hmm.
Danley, Yvonne, when they're running up, making those through balls. So I know, with the transfer fee, Mikel Ua, on his last year of his contract and his fee, I wouldn't be surprised if Union move off him at the end of the year. So this might be, but what are your overall thoughts?
Yeah, so this definitely provides some depth, some, fire up top there. And honestly, I this is the most optimistic I've been in a little while. I mean, I'm not saying, oh, the Union are going to go out and win the cup, but
Hmm.
you just never know. I mean, they definitely upgraded a bit, and I also think that, win, lose, or draw this weekend, people need to you know, um, just not overreact because there could be a bit of a learning curve, with the team getting situated. So, you kind of need to give them a few games to kind of really, see how it's going. And, because there's a lot of moving parts here, but I would be absolutely pleased if the Union go out and just get a draw on the road in Orlando.
Yeah, and we'll get to that here at
Yeah.
the end.
So, yeah, I mean, but basically, I'm cautiously optimistic. I am excited to see when Bruno does get playing because I don't think we're going to see him on Saturday.
Mm.
No. And they have to figure out some roster things too. So,
Yeah,
but we'll see.
it's exciting news, and I think it gives it gives the Union a little bit, it gives Cornell a little bit more roster flexibility. In terms of what he has, and I'm gonna play some clips now from yesterday. We can look at this now, but there is Bruno himself in the new secondary kit. And
Wearing number 20, Choo Choo's former
yeah,
number.
That's usually the sign and a hallmark of a good, successful team. So, we're trying to elevate each other on the training ground first. And that way we can push each other to new heights.
so anyway, Carnell here was talking just a little bit about, what the addition of Bruno means. Just wanted to bring that in here.
On Saturday afternoons or Saturday evenings, right? So for me, the field is now level, it's open, and there's places and spots to be had, right? So in some of the systems you've seen throughout preseason, we played with a two striker tandem, we played with one striker up top in a 4-2-3-1. So I'm excited about competition. I wish I could have spoken that good at German when I moved to Germany back in the day. It would have made the process a whole lot easier. So he's hit the ground running, and we're going to continue building up his fitness. And yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time to get him fully integrated. And but that's the exciting part now. We know he's really a philosophy player. He's aggressive against the ball. Holds up the play really well. Strong in the air and a dominating threat in the box. So all of these things, if you put them in our game model, all speaks to exactly how he can complement the team.
Yeah, so it was interesting what Carnell said there, about the hold up, which again, this is what Ernst talked about.
Hmm.
The curious thing is about the playing field being level.
Yep.
So, and about how, they played in different combinations. So, I mean, for what the way they want to play moving forward, the Union, it makes sense for like a Rebo, like a Damiani to kind of match up. And what does that mean for Mikel? Well, you spot starts maybe, and again, it's going to depend on when Bruno kind of starts to find form if he does this year. But
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the thought of bringing Mikel on against tired legs,
that's the best possible scenario.
because we've seen him come off the bench and do really well. There's a few
Oh
players, we've seen do that. So there's this added flexibility. And, I don't think Carnell's going to be afraid to do some rotation. He's basically said as much,
yeah,
and, play some of these guys, give some of these guys a shot. So we'll see.
we will see. So moving forward here,
Would
this
say
is
that they are the younger guys. We have a couple of academy prospects we brought in, and these are the really young guys. I think all our new signings are in their best performance age or are coming to their best performance age. Yeah. And that's what we need to do. I mean, not too many weeks ago, I was sitting here and telling you about the overhaul of the roster. And that's what we have pretty much completed. And maybe there is something to do in addition, but we need to see what we can get and also what fits in the budget because in this moment it's getting tighter and tighter.
and so Ernst is there talking about the budget, also talking about a lot of the younger players, a lot of the homegrowns, but also alluding to that there's moves, and he talked about that. Todd Lewis asked about, how they're gonna, because they don't have an international roster spot, and he's
Yeah.
gonna take a visa,
Yeah.
and so basically kind of alluded to somebody's gonna be getting a green card.
Yeah, so I think I want to say I think Semla was working on getting a green card. I'm not sure. I feel like I heard that somewhere, but
Yeah.
they're gonna have to do something because they need to have the roster, just
Uh,
decided by Friday. Um so yeah, that'll be interesting. Are they gonna loan out anybody or what's going on? So
yeah, so he kind of just talks about right there just how the roster is. Another thing that he brought up interesting because there was a question, and this is something I was interested in about seven. We had like seven strikers now on the roster,
hmm.
and Ernst basically said, with paraphrasing here, the some of these guys like Eddie, the agreement was always they were going to be playing the majority of their minutes on Union too, which we kind of all agreed and
Yeah.
thought about.
I mean, it's better for them to get some quality playing time, get consistent playing time rather than just like, sitting the bench and maybe coming in for a few minutes.
For sure, for sure. And so they need to play.
They need to continue to develop.
Now, what that means for somebody like Nelson Pierre, who knows? There's another one.
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
might be odd man
I
out.
think the writing's on the wall there.
The fact that he
Don't
wasn't,
know anything, but
but we all know he wasn't, in their preseason camps.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so,
So we'll see. I mean,
hmm.
we'll go from there. But anyway, Bruno is now part of the union, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting development. But yeah, I would say overall, now with the roster build, the union have gotten better than what they were a couple months ago. So
Right. They're not running it back after running it back after running it back.
no.
There finally has been some, turnover here.
So anyway, that's that. Before we talk about the match this weekend, let's get into our predictions, shall we?
Okay.
Um, so again, we're gonna have some fun here. And again, if you're listening, please comment on your thoughts, predictions, what you think the Union are going to be capable of in 2025. But anyway, we're going to go share my screen again, and we are going to get started here with, believe it or not, um, let me close out of that. We're going to start with our schedule.
All right.
So, kind of just looking at this, I broke it into games of 5. Um, I do not have any nice graphics, so if you're listening or watching on YouTube, it is just an Excel spreadsheet, very basic that I use to update
Very
my
basic,
pick.
like you.
Yes,
I'm
very
just kidding.
basic.
I'm just kidding.
But no, I think this week, so my picks are this: first 5 games at Orlando loss, at Cincinnati draw, New England loss, Nashville. I think we get a win. I think the Union get a win, and I think they draw against St. Louis just because I don't know. I don't know if
I'm
Carnett.
I'm feeling a draw at Orlando.
All right, all
That's
right,
me being cautiously optimistic.
right. So that right there puts us at 5 points.
Hmm.
Teams take a while to gel, especially with a new coach. We've seen
Yeah.
that with Pat Noonan's first year,
Mhm.
Josh Wolf's first year at Austin. You see that. And sometimes it never works out, and the manager goes after halfway through the season. Uh, what was his name? Ezra Hendrickson from
Yeah.
Chicago. Just never they
Yeah.
never could figure it out. So yeah, it starts off with 5 points. Um, that's an okay start.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of very conservative. And then after that, at Miami, which we will be at,
Yes.
I have that loss.
Hopefully not. But
I
yeah.
don't see that.
Yeah.
I could see them repaying Orlando in April at home, just
Yeah.
getting one of those. At NYCFC, that was a tough one. I kind of had a loss, but I'm gonna give them a draw. Atlanta's just really good right now.
Hmm.
Ryan Dahlia is back in the league.
Yeah, they're gonna be legit this year, I think.
They're gonna be good. I think it's gonna depend on their how good their defense is at times, but they're
Hmm.
gonna be good. And then I think DC's a win. 7 points. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all DC has is Benteke.
Yeah, they
Like,
went out and made some USL moves,
yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
then I mean that would be actually very nice. And then we go to Saturday, May 3rd. They're at Montreal. I have that one a loss, even though I'm not really happy that I don't think Montreal's that good. I think this is going to be a road loss. And then the Union this year um, entered the round of 32, the U.S. Open Cup. That game will either be played on May 6th or 7th.
Yep, like I said, people better be showing up for it. They wanted it bad. They wanted it so bad. All
Yeah.
right, you got it. Show up.
Yeah, so and I think they will. But the
Yeah.
good news is, so when I put in, everybody's like, wait a minute, Montreal's not going to be good. Why is that a loss? Well, Carnell had was asked about, his thoughts on the Open Cup, and he says any tournament we're in, we want to go win.
Yeah.
I looked at his time in St. Louis, both times they made it to the quarterfinals. It wasn't like they just kind of showed up like the Union did,
Yeah.
or they kind of did it. They
Yeah.
kind of went for it. So I'm going to give them a little bit of benefit of doubt. So in some of these where there's a potential cup spot in there, um, and I wrote an article about it. I
Hmm.
did not put the rest of the cup games in here just because I didn't want to throw off my judgment. But
Yeah.
there is some flexibility there. But around 32, then they come back with Columbus. I have that as a draw. It's because it's at home. Here's a real good one. Midweek. I think they get a sneaky win midweek against LA.
Hmm.
But then they piggyback that with a loss at Atlanta, a draw, and then a draw against
Hmm.
Miami. 5 points again. Thoughts?
I think that's a fair assessment.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's some opportunity here as well with, let's say they don't beat LA, but maybe they go and sneak out a win in Montreal, So
Yeah.
I think it's a fair. Um, Then starting the week of May 28th, they're at Toronto. Again, I don't think Toronto's good, but it's a Wednesday midweek game on the road. They've
Yeah.
struggled in Toronto the last couple seasons. I could see that being a loss. Same with Dallas. Dallas at the beginning of summer.
Dallas has now.
Yeah, and that's been, well, even beyond that, I
Yeah.
don't know how good they're going to be this year, even with Acosta.
Yeah.
However, going from Toronto to Dallas, that could be a letdown game. Then I have 'em on June 14th, bounce back win against Charlotte. Wednesday, a draw at Chicago, and then a loss in, well, actually, that stops that bracket. So, really, only 4 points there. So, you're starting to see a trend that this part of the schedule is a little, but again, there's opportunity. And, maybe you grab a point here, but again, only 4 points. Not a whole lot there.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I think they could steal a point or two there, but yeah, definitely on the conservative side. I'm notice I'm not like saying a whole lot in the terms of predictions because I'm crap at predictions. And I'm always like, we're gonna win or we're gonna draw.
Yeah.
I'm bad at predictions because I am like so I'm so like I can be really cautiously optimistic, but also I can be like, yeah, we gonna lose.
Well, let me just give a little editor's note on this. Like, honestly, like my original point total was a lot lower, and I actually was given the benefit of doubt on some of these.
I have a little more I have a little more hope because
I
of
do
the
too.
signings. But again, you know,
We'll
I
see.
there might be a bit of a learning curve. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, so then after that, July 5th, they are in Nashville. I have that loss, even though, again, I think the East is going to be up on a lot of teams again this year.
I could see them getting at least a draw in Nashville. They've been doing
Yeah.
pretty decent there, but
And then I
we'll
could
see.
see for rivalry, they bounce back win against Red.
They better beat Red Bull.
I could see them beating Red Bulls. I could see them beating Montreal. They go to Houston that Saturday 19th. That's a loss in Houston, middle of summer. Yeah.
And watch Jack McLinnell score against him.
Oh yeah. And then July 26th, home against Colorado. I also think
Mm,
that could be a win, even though I
hmm.
project Colorado to be a solid team this year. I think that's a winnable game.
Yeah.
That's just their highest point total of the year. I think that's 9 points. I think this is a good, but again, there's flexibility here. This is a big one where they got hit on this one.
Yes.
Now there's some good teams in there, but so if they get some points early on, there's some flexibility. Then we go Saturday, August 9th, Toronto. That's a draw. Then at New York Red Bull, and I think the streak's gonna get broken
Uh,
because I think Red Bull's gonna go out and get some players in the summer window.
can the Union keep that streak going?
I
I don't think it's going forever, but
No, I don't think it's this year.
um, but hey, they've they've had a good track record, so we'll see. We'll see.
Um, Home against Chicago on August 23rd. I think that's gonna be a win. At Cincinnati, it's definitely a loss. Um, Vancouver, I could see that being a draw.
That's
I
one
would
we're
love to
hoping to
get a
go
point.
to. Whew, I
Yeah,
hope
I'd
we
love
can
to
go
see
to that
that.
one.
And again, that's 5 points.
Yeah.
So I did put in the U.S. Open Cup final only because they're at DC and then they play in my CFC, and that's a big kind of thing if they make it all this way.
Mm-hmm.
But to end out the season, I have them going draw against New England at DC win. They go for two against DC this year. I think that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
They're home against new NYCFC. I do expect NYCFC, even with them losing, they're going to spend their money,
Mm-hmm.
get some players. But I think they sneak out a win. And the finish off season at Charlotte, it's always going to be a tough game, especially on the turf.
Yeah.
And I have that one being lost. And that's 7 points in that window. Thoughts?
Again, I think that's fair. I think yeah, they've not had good luck at Charlotte. Or Cincinnati. So yeah, except for that. Well, except for the Leagues Cup game.
Yeah.
That was great, but we don't have Brujo. Anyway,
So that's
yeah.
42 points. Thoughts on my predictions?
No, like I think that's pretty fair. where do you see the Union kind of going in the standings?
Well, that's funny you asked. So we're going to
Hmm.
move on. Very good. So I think in the Eastern Conference, they're about ninth. I think they sneak in. I think this is a playoff
Uh-huh.
team.
I
A
think they could sneak in like ninth or so, get in that
Well,
play-in
I think
game.
I think if they really click, if Damiani is as
Hmm.
good as advertised, as Ernst has hoped, players stay healthy, maybe that defense. There's a lot of what ifs, and we talked about this yesterday with a more Philly Union. Is there's a lot of like, oh, this could be really good, this could be really bad, but there's just a lot of freshness, a
There's so
lot
much
of
unknown.
a lot unknown. So you know, we'll see. So I have them at ninth, and I'll talk about that real quick in a little bit here. But Shield standings, I have them as like 17th. I think maybe the East is still a little bit better than the West. I think they do win the playing game, even at the ninth seed, but then they bow out and they probably make it to the quarterfinals. Um, any thoughts on those?
Yeah, I do feel like they could sneak into the playoffs. Hopefully, we're pleasantly surprised. But again, it depends how things click here. That's kind of also, I mean, in a way, a little exciting to think, okay, this team could do really well. Okay, we just don't know how they're gonna, gel together and
Exactly.
work under Carnell because we just haven't really seen it besides, a smattering of it on, these preseason games, which you can't put too much into,
Yeah,
honestly.
I don't.
Just like even like with football and baseball, like, it's preseason, they're trying some things out, and it's not necessarily, the real deal just yet. It's just like kind of
Mhm.
trying things out. So, once we see how they look, on Saturday, that'll start like, giving us more of an idea. But yeah.
Yeah, so top three scores this year, kind of like what we talked about
Mm-hmm.
last year. Um, I still think Gazdag, probably double digits, 13. Brebo. I don't. I've seen people say, yeah, he might, make a push for not golden boot, but
He'll
be
be
the.
up there in the hunt there, I
I
think.
see. I don't. I
You think?
don't. I think he's going to be good,
Mm-hmm.
but I think like 12 goals, from Brebo this
Mm-hmm.
year. Okay. And then, let's say Damiani comes on late, gets maybe 10, 11
Mm-hmm.
goals, 36 goals. I think 35, 36 goals for the forward position
Mm-hmm.
from those three is possible. And that's not even counting Mikel Ua. I don't have him in there. I
Yeah.
don't think he hits 10 this year or double digits, but I sure as heck would love to be wrong on
Yeah.
that. I mean, if you could have 4 10 goal scorers, I don't see it. That
Mm-hmm.
would be great.
Yeah.
But there's potential there. I don't think scoring is going to be a problem.
I think Cavan gets his first MLS goal.
Oh, I do too. But that's beyond the point.
Yeah.
Uh, for assist leavers, I think Quinn Sullivan keeps improving.
Yeah.
That's one area. I think Kai's always going to be good for 10, 11 assists.
Yeah. Especially when he's taking the corners.
And I think really a good thing to unlock this system, especially even now, is Gazdag. Last year Ua had 6 assists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he still can't have that, but somebody like Ozdag getting a couple goals here and there.
Yeah, he actually didn't have
I mean,
nearly as many
assist.
penalties last year either. Like
Yeah,
he had much more of his goals coming from, just open play.
right.
So,
Any thoughts?
yeah, I think that Ty is gonna have the most goals. And Gazdag could be like right behind him. We'll see how Damiani goes here. Okay. I'm hoping that he's one of the top scorers. Like I said, I think Cavan gets his first MLS goal. I think it's gonna
Hmm.
happen. I think Quinn, if he can keep building off of the season he had last year, because he was definitely a bright spot. I think he could definitely put the ball in the net. Especially when he's playing more in his natural position, I think that makes a huge difference.
For sure.
Um, and I think that I'm really hoping to see a little more from Bueno. Okay, like what kind of role he gets. He's good for like he's come in and like made a difference when he's been in there. So,
Yeah.
I think he'll be good for a few goals. Obviously, Ua, I would love to see him, go off here, but we'll see. Um and you might get some random goals in there from some of the defenders. Okay. You know,
Does Bizo get a goal this year?
gosh, he hasn't had a goal in a while. He
He has never had a goal.
Yes, he has.
He had that
He
goal
had
that
that
was owned. It was an own
Was
goal.
it an own goal? That one that was like kind of a weird, like kind of bloop little
Yep,
thing
it
over.
was an own goal.
Well,
We thought it was.
yeah.
I don't. I mean,
I
somebody.
think Bizo's due for a goal. No, hot take. Frankie's gonna have a goal. Frankie's gonna get in there and he's gonna have a goal.
This is some hot takes there.
No,
Um, no, it's still not as hot as my hottest of hot takes. But anyway,
oh, what that Bizo's gonna be a top five back.
that aged so poorly. That aged like
Oh,
socks, man. Anyway,
yeah.
uh, three most improved. People are probably like, "Gosh, they brought it up again." Gosh, quit bringing that up. It was a bad take.
Yeah.
But anyway, uh, so three most improved for me. I think Quinn's gonna take another step.
I think that's a good prediction there.
Yeah, I think Yvonne.
I'm excited about
Yvonne's
Jovan actually.
Jovan is gonna, I think, be somebody that's going to that we weren't expecting by the end of the year. Be like, man, he was
Dude.
really good. He stood out.
I thought he looked good right from the get-go, like in
Yeah.
the preseason. Like he just like fit right in there,
And
honestly.
Cornell's talked about him a lot, very favorably. And I think Danley, Jean-Jacques
No,
is
I'm excited to see what Danley does with a full season with you.
and that's why I have him there. This is my three.
Yeah.
Um, I think those are the ones that I'm most excited about. And
Yeah.
then for clean sheets this year, last year, Blake Heck like was one of his worst, but he was injured
The
most
key
of the
is
time.
if Andre stays healthy, like that just makes such a huge difference. I mean, like we've talked about many times, if Andre, stays healthy last year, oh, I think the Union get into the playoffs. Makes a
Yeah,
huge difference.
I do too, but I'm gonna go with 7 this year, and people are probably like that's really low. However, I don't know if the defense, if Jan can't stay healthy, and now we're relying on Bizo and Neo and whoever else back there,
Nakanya.
Makanya, Harriel.
Yeah.
I mean, if people are like, well, those are the only four we have. Well, you could put Nate and you could put Frankie back there because Frankie
Yeah.
is also played center
Yeah,
back.
I mean, there's versatility there. Nate and Frankie both give you some versatility.
So I mean, but I don't want to see that. I'd rather see Nate on the right.
Right.
So anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. And then finally, here's our conferences. Again, the Western just kind of threw some names up there based on some things I was looking at. I had not looking at any of the conference predictions from MLS Raiders or anybody.
I did.
I didn't. Uh, oh, editing note here. It should actually be Atlanta, Miami, not
Ah.
Miami, Atlanta. I'll have to fix that. I think Cincy's still going to be good,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Charlotte's going to be up there. I do
Mm-hmm.
think Columbus gets better,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's where I'm at with them.
Yeah, that's honestly, I don't think too far off of what like they're predicting on MLS. Although, no, I think on MLS they're predicting Union to be like 12th. Yeah, and I've seen like predicting like on the one thing like 14th and stuff.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is on the sports betting thing, like the odds, the Union were ranked actually like that was just out
I'm
today.
sorry, that made no sense.
They were ranked like higher than a whole bunch of teams. Like I was like,
Yeah, I didn't
okay.
get that. I did not get that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just editing this right now
Yeah.
real quick here. Um, but anyway, anybody else you think is going to be a dark horse?
Um, Honestly, I think Columbus could still do
Yeah,
pretty
well,
well. Yeah.
I
With Wilfred Nancy on like coach, I mean, you just never know. But yeah, I think Atlanta, yeah, they've got
I
the stuff to
just
be real good.
I'm curious to see what BJ Callahan does down there in Nashville. I
Yeah.
know it's kind of with them. I still think Red Bull had a hot run at the end of the year last year. I mean, what does Chicago do? They got some players, but you know, where's Greg Berhalter going to do with them? Who knows?
Yeah.
Um, I think those could be two sleeper teams right there, Chicago and Nashville. Maybe I'm not saying they're going to win the conference, make a run, but they could be better than expected. In the West, I still think Galaxy goes and gets some reinforcements come the summer. And they still might get somebody now. The window's still open, folks. If you
Hmm.
don't realize, even though the season's starting, the window is still open.
Hmm.
I think Salt Lake's going to be good.
Yeah.
Um, LAFC, Seattle, they'll always be good. I think Houston improves, and I think Colorado does good.
Yeah. I know like a lot of things I've seen San Diego ranked last, like,
I
but
think San Diego's going to be better than expected.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I do think Colorado is going to be pretty decent. I think they've got a good shot. So
And you can never, I think the two teams you can't count out are going to be outside Houston. Austin and San Jose made some adjustments, so
mhm.
I'm curious to see there.
Yeah.
So, uh, anything else on that?
I mean, I think that pretty much covers that.
So, leave us a comment, share your thoughts. What are your predictions? What are your hot takes for this year? Um, I really don't have any hot takes this year, maybe other than uh, the strikers. I think the hottest take is maybe the strikers don't really hit those numbers, but I still think scoring's not going to be the issue, and that's just kind of like in the back of my head, like Rebo doesn't really get to that number. Maybe only gets 9, 10 goals. But again, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, the second half that he had in League's Cup run and everything till that stupid red card.
Yeah,
I mean, it was good. So we'll see. We'll see if he picks up where he
yeah.
left
I
off.
just don't think. I think Uva takes a step back.
I
Guy's dog, maybe.
I think one of the young guys can maybe have a breakout season.
I think that's very possible.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, let's talk about Orlando City this Saturday kickoff. Um, you talked about it. The draw, get a point on the road. That'd be a great, excellent start for Cardinals' first game in the
Yeah.
MLS regular season. You know, right now, Orlando has just apparently gotten rid of Nicholas. Well, it's official now. Nicholas Ladero's out
Hmm.
of there. I think he's heading to Houston. Um, Willard Cartagena's
Out for the
is
season.
in.
Horrible injury.
And
Ugh.
I saw something with Duncan McGuire. He has shoulder injury. I was looking at that now, and I think he's either sidelined or he's not been playing. I was trying to find some more updates on him, but I was looking at that. I did see that, so that was interesting. I don't know if he's playing or not. We don't have an injury report yet.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing something like that. I was snooping around today, and I just found some older news.
Yeah,
But
speaking of
they,
injury report too, it's gonna be interesting to see what's up with the Union though, 'cause that's gonna
yeah,
matter big time
yeah.
too.
What's up with Jan? I mean,
Is he good to go? Is Nate good to
is
go?
Nate good to go? Is Bizo good to go?
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
if you I have
Frankie,
confidence in Frankie.
Frankie and
If he
McConaughey
fixes
could
it.
be like Gam and be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make a name for myself. Ooh, I'm gonna make a name for
Oh
myself."
yeah, queue up. I know we're gonna queue up that if that's
I think a
the
whole
case.
bunch of people are gonna be like, "Ooh, I'm about to make a name for
Yeah.
myself."
Okay, it's just like okay, Makanya, if you get the start, don't do anything dumb. Like don't go and like make a bad tackle and get a red card. Bro.
Don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. But anyway, no, that's one thing. Um. I still think it'll be Baribo Ua up top. I think they go
Yeah.
the diamond here, but it will be interesting to see. Do they go with a 4-2-2-2? Do they go with a 4-4-2-3-1? It's like just these wild combinations. What does that look like? We'll see.
Yeah.
Uh again, Union all time are 2 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses, based on what I found on SofaScore, and it's an 18-18 goal differential. Now, again, I kind of just write the numbers out and look at last year, what I had from the season prior, and that's in all regular season competitions, not all-time competitions. So it doesn't count the Open Cup playoffs, that kind of stuff.
Never forget at Orlando what Brujo did.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
Union have had success there.
That goal was one of the greatest goals
At
I've ever
what
seen.
is it now? Inter.co field? Yeah, I think so. No, or is it? Yeah, I think it's Inter.co.
Hmm.
It was Exploria. But
Okay.
anyway, I think they've had some nice additions. They brought in oh, what's the name? Begins with an A. Atusita from Palmeiras. He was at LAFC. Oh my gosh, somebody's killing me on that one. And they brought in $4 million other midfielder from overseas,
Uh-huh.
Nicholas Rodriguez. So they're going to be good. I mean, they still got some talent there. This is a team that, even with injuries,
Hmm.
they play well at home. So, I mean, they look good at Inter Miami, against Inter Miami for sure. Even though they don't have Facundo Torres anymore, they're still going to be good.
Yeah.
So, I want to see a good game. I'm looking to see what this team looks like for a full 90. I'm curious to see what Cardinals subs look like. How
Yeah.
does he use the subs? You expect probably a striker to go in. You probably expect some midfield help, depending on what goes in. So who are the midfielders? Is it Bueno? Is it Ali? He probably would say it's Navi. Is it Kevin? Is it
Hmm.
Rafa? Is it a geez, there's a lot of midfielders. But anyway, is it CJ? Does CJ make an appearance?
CJ or David or
Or Nick Pariano? I don't think. I mean, I think it's going to depend a lot on some of those first names I listed. I could see kind of going like whoever the third striker is that day, maybe Ali if the situation dictates it.
I think if
Bueno,
Bueno, if he doesn't start, he gets subbed on.
Cavan. I
Yeah,
think you're going to see
Cavan.
a lot more Cavan. Although
Yep.
somebody out there they said 1,500 minutes for Cavan. I don't see 1,500 minutes for Cavan, but the clock is ticking.
Yeah, this is true.
Clock is ticking on that deal with Manchester City. So they're going to try to get their money's worth. But
Yeah, he's the Union's Messi, as in the big name. So,
yeah. But anyway, let us know your thoughts in there. I'll be interested to see what the hell the Union do. We will be writing a preview article this Friday. Saturday will be out, Friday, Saturday. And then we'll have a wrap-up game as well, article as well.
yeah, you also put out a travel
Yep,
article
about
for
to get to that.
Orlando. Yep.
So yeah, there's if you're heading down, check out on our website. We have a travel article. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff. Not just going around looking around the resorts area. Go downtown near the stadium. There's a lot of cool bars and restaurants. Orlando's a cool city. I mean, I've been there with training trips with teams, and I always had a good time downtown.
Don't they have like an Eagles bar or something? Don't
They
they?
have something like that.
I
When
feel like
I
yeah.
remember I went to this like pizza Italian restaurant. It was like open air, and it was the most amazing food. And I remember
Hmm.
getting like a plate of chicken parm, and it was like $12, and it was like enough to feed 2 people. It was now this is like 2017,
Yeah.
prices have changed, but I just remember being like, oh, this is probably gonna get like a small plate, and it was like, whoa, this is big. So
Hmm.
there's some good food there. But yeah, if you go, leave us a review, tell us where you went, checked out, any ideas, any suggestions for future articles, because I always love to hear from you. So
Yeah.
um, I guess before we get out of here, what are your three things for your prediction? Well, not predictions, but 3 things you want to see this year, looking forward to this year.
This year.
What are you
Um,
looking forward to this year?
okay, what am I looking forward to? Um, I'm looking forward to actually just like some new excitement. Like, okay, maybe seeing some new players step
Hmm.
up. Okay. um, things have been a little stale. Now, like last season, Tide doing so well, that was really
Mhm.
exciting. That was something good. I'm looking forward to some new excitement there. I like from a fan perspective, like I I really want to see the fans step it up and like get loud. Make Subaru Park the fortress that it was. I think that is so key. You know, no matter what, get there and support the players. Be loud because that used to be a horrible place for opposing teams to come play in.
Right.
Like, get it back to that because that was a huge part of 2022, and last year was not so great. So I want to see the Union get back to winning ways at home. I think that would be going a long way. So honestly, I'm looking forward to getting back to the games though, personally. And, we know some great people that we hang out with at the games, whether it's fans, whether it's people in the media that we know, it's just, I'm looking forward to just, the social aspect of it again, too, for
Yeah.
sure.
Uh, I think for me, it's the stories.
Yes.
I'm curious to see what the stories are. I know it sounds like a boring answer, but I'm curious to see what stories come out of this
Mhm.
season. Last year for us, it was Union 2.
Yeah, I'm excited for Union 2 coming up, too.
Yeah,
We'll be getting to
yeah,
that, too.
we'll be getting back there covering them as well.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm excited about that. I'm so curious what this Tanner Carnell envision of the Union look like. Is it's gotta work. I mean, there's no if, ands, or
It's
buts.
on Ernst now,
It
so.
is, and it is. And if it goes bad, I'm not saying he's going to get fired during the season, but you never know.
Hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see what that looks like. And then I am very curious to see what the evolution of this system that, was special apparently the, 442 diamond, how that looks. What are the homegrowns? Because Ernst has said, to have that pathway up. Now we know they're going to be probably playing a lot with Union 2, and I'm going to be finding out soon, hopefully, about, talking with some players and coaches down there and seeing like, what is the plan. But for now, I'm curious about that as well. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to see who are these stories that are coming out. That's the
Yeah.
most I'm excited about.
I'm excited to see, like, I know some of the players that we could be seeing with Union 2, like, the kids that
Yeah,
are coming up, and there's some good, players that
there
are
are
in there and, looking to make that jump up to like, next pro level. And so I'm excited to see how, they build off that, after, making it to the next cup final last year. And it'll be interesting to see how that all progresses. Will people keep coming out well
yes,
for Union 2 with work Bridge Brigade did, drumming up that interest as well? It's going to be weird, not being Marlon there, but at least, I mean, Ryan Richter is someone who's been in there. He
yeah,
knows the system and everything, but shout out to Marlon because, he did such a great job with those
for
youth
sure.
two guys. But you know, we'll see if these guys keep it rolling. And yeah, for me it's exciting to see because that development aspect, like those young guys on Union 2, they're always fun to watch, so I'm
They
excited
are.
to see what they bring.
Yeah, so it's gonna be so the season's here, and we thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to bringing more and more stories throughout the year, and seeing you guys around the stadium, watch parties, wherever we're covering games, away games, all that. But until then, this has been a new episode of the One Team We Agree On.
Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and leave us comments, interact with us on our socials. We love hearing from you.
Yeah,
Be sure to check out our website, and you can actually subscribe on it. It's free. And you can actually, when we publish new articles, you can get it right to your email as well. So but yeah, check that out if you haven't yet. And again, we appreciate everyone who has been tuning in or reading our articles and everything. So yeah,
yeah, it really means a lot.
it does.
So, again, we don't charge for this. We never will. So that's kind of our whole thing. We want to bring the stories to you. Um, and that's important to us. So until next time, I'm Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we'll see you at the game.